So the way that my setup works is I plug in my ring light to my laptop because it has a USB port and it's just easy. And I rest the laptop with my notes on the chair next to me. Unfortunately, it is also my cat's favorite chair. So here's what it looked like when I got down here, and here's what it looks like right now. It'll probably change soon, but she just does not care. She'll let me do it. What's up, guys? My name is Moo. I am a college student who loves reading, and I'm here to share that love with all of you. You know, I love reading, if you couldn't tell. You probably couldn't. It's kind of something I keep under wraps. But if you couldn't tell, I love reading. I have a diverse range of likes. I read a lot of history. I like reading about social issues, actually. I've been into very intellectual books recently. I read a lot of classics. The last video you saw from me was The Unreal and the Real by Ursula K. Le Guin, and that was a very intellectual read. And I love them. But sometimes you just need that 2012 YA fiction. Sometimes it just hits the spot. Mwah. We are talking today about Grave Mercy by Robin LeFevers. I don't know if that's said right. Sorry, girl. So it's pretty obvious to me that I'm years behind books that I have bought because I don't think I would have bought this book now. So I must have bought it when I was like 17 or something. Like, that was a little while ago. But I am glad I bought it when I was 17 because I ended up really liking it. It is a trilogy, so I haven't read the other two books, but I'm really hoping they're as good as the first one. I am so scared it'll be another Wrath in the Dawn business where the first book was pretty good and then the second one just disappointed me. Definitely watch that video if you haven't. I'll put it up here. But I did like this book better than I did the Wrath in the Dawn, so I'm hoping for good things. It is just so like dystopian 2012. I mean, it's not really dystopian, but you know, it's like the dark, brooding 2012, like she's not like other girls and she does this and that and she's a badass who wears a dress, and it's just like that kind of thing, which I feel like was really popular from like 2008 to 2015. It's a wide gap, but it was also like the middle of the I'm not like other girls era, so like we have to deal with that a little bit, but it's mostly a really good read, and I rated it pretty highly because I am not conservative with my ratings in any way. If I like it, I'll rate it 5 stars. If you look at my story graph and you see that my Warrior Cats books are reviewed 5 stars, I stand by that. I'm going to rate things however I want because, surprise, surprise, I'm allowed to. But enough of the intro. I think that we should read the summary. It's the well-tempered blade that's the strongest. In 15th century Brittany, Ismay escapes from the brutality of an arranged marriage to the convent of St. Morton, where the sisters will serve the gods of old. Here she learns that she has been sired by the god of death himself, and will be trained in his arts. Ismay's most important assignment takes her to the High Court of Brittany, where deadly games of intrigue and treason create impossible choices. How can she deliver death's vengeance upon a target who, against her will, has stolen her heart? The first book in the tantalizing His Fair Assassin trilogy introduces a darkly imagined world that combines romance and captivating action. So yeah, like very 2012, but the plot is very compelling. And this cover too, so 2012, like, it's just bringing me back. Even though I didn't read books like this in 2012 because I was 8? Guys, I can't do math. I was born in 2004, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 8. I can do math. No, I can't, guys. Guys, I'm college educated, but at what cost? But yes, as the summary says, this is about a girl named Ismay who trains as an assassin, and it's her job to carry out the wishes of the god Morton. So what I actually didn't know until I read the author's note at the end is Brittany and the characters within Brittany, all of this stuff like existed in a time of history in 15th century Brittany. So a lot of the nobles in this book are real, except for like the protagonist and the love interests and a couple other people, but a lot of it is real people within the book, which I thought was an interesting way to do things. I didn't expect that at all, but hey, like whatever works. It seemed very well researched, and I'm saying that as someone who, this is not my area of expertise, but from like someone who doesn't know that much about like medieval times in Europe, it seemed pretty legit. I had to like Google words of like the clothing they were wearing because I didn't know completely, but it ended up being really cool. So the book starts with Ismay, and it's the night of her wedding, and she is not happy. She was arranged to marry a pig farmer, and he sucks. Like, he's just yucky. He's like, I think women should be property, like most of my peers do in this era. And that's another thing, like, this book is very big on, like, girls can be independent and do everything like that. Like, very, 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 very 2012 feminism, which is very good. That's how a lot of people got introduced to feminism, and we love, but it's also like 2012 feminism, you know, like it's very like women deserve equal rights and we deserve to not be called property. And it's just like, yes, go girl. I agree, but we are dealing with bigger fish to fry. Like, it is very systemic, like da 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 da, not just like girls should be equal to boys, because like that's true, but there's more that goes into it. Like, did you know in a recent study that was conducted in South Korea that 41% of men in their 20s believed that self-proclaiming as a feminist is reasonable grounds to not hire a woman? Crazy. We're still so backwards in society. But this is not what that video is about. This video is about 2012 YA gold. So it's her wedding night. On her back is a scar given to her from birth by the god Morton because her mother tried to expel her with poison. And like, it was so bad that it was like what the far right believes that we think abortion should be, like expelling the pregnancy once it was already like a full child. Like, that's obviously not okay and no one should do that. Like, whatever, everyone agrees on that. But that's what happened, and she did not die. She survived, and she has this whole scar to show what happened to her, and she was marked by the god Morton himself. So basically, the pig farmer is like ripping her clothes off, really gross, really disgusting. It is there to make you feel icky, and he sees the scar and he goes, I was deceived. You didn't tell me about this. I was deceived. I'm locking you up. I'm gonna make sure that you are executed by the church, like da-da-da-da, that kind of thing. You are possessed by like bad spirits, whatever, that kind of thing. So she gets locked up, but luckily someone who is on her side and on the side of Morton, the god of death, finds her, brings her out, sneaks her out of town, across the country to an island where the convent of Morton is. So she goes in and she decides to become an assassin. She also learns through this that she is immune to poison because her welcome ceremony, if you will, is her drinking wine that is spiked with poison, and she does not react at all. She is immune to poison. So that is really interesting. And she goes, there's only one other person on this property that is immune to poison. That's really cool. All the other girls failed, but they got revived, so it was okay. But she's like immune to poison, and that's a whole thing. She was like truly touched by the god of death himself. So she trains to become an assassin for a couple of years, and I didn't know that there was going to be a 3-year time gap, so I heard that she was 14, and I went, like, I know 14-year-olds got married back then, but that still like freaked me out. I was like, this story better not be about a 14-year-old. But there was a 3-year time gap, and that's okay. I can deal with a 17-year-old. But A 14-year-old talking about like getting married. Oh, sorry. As an adult, it just felt very icky to me. So I'm glad that the time skipped. So on her first mission out, it is successful. She bumps into a guy, doesn't think much of it. But besides that, everything is successful. She completes her mission. The second mission she goes out on, she also completes it, but she gets yelled at by none other than Gabriel Duval, a noble in the court of Brittany. And he's very mad. He's like, I could have used him for information. You did everything like without whatever. You are fighting against the Duchess, which is starkly against what she believes. She thinks she's protecting the Duchess. They both think they're protecting the Duchess, but he is mad that she killed him, and she is just like, I'm doing my job, I'm serving my country. So they get into this fight, but since they are both working for the good of the Duchess, he goes to the convent, and the head woman is like, okay, why don't you guys work together? You guys are going to work together and infiltrate the court. And both of them are like, no, that sounds like the worst thing ever. I hate this man. I hate this woman. Love a good enemies to lovers. But they're forced to work together. And then Duval leaves the room, and she goes to Ismay. I need you to keep track of him. I need you to see if he's suspicious, if he bears the mark, which means that he's destined for death. If he bears the mark, I need you to kill him. Do it. And she's like, got it. He's annoying. So that's like the start of it all. So they travel to where the Duchess is, and on the way that they're traveling, Ismay finds out that the Duchess is actually Duval's half-sister. And the reason why he is not Duke is because he is the son of the Duke, but he is also the son of an unmarried woman that he kept as a concubine. So he is not eligible for dukeship because of that. So they have to pass it down to a woman. So the Duchess is 12, which is also weird. Like, I get it. It's historically accurate. But I just feel like we could have taken a couple artistic liberties and made her just a little bit older. Unless, like, it was really impertinent to be that historically accurate, because I believe the Duchess was a real figure. Either way, I just wish we would have done a little bit of creative liberties. Like, it is fiction, regardless of whether or not the characters are real. But either way, she's 12, she's young. A through line of the entire story is she's trying to find a way to keep the country's independence, but also get married, because they will not give her the title of Duchess truly unless she gets married to a man. And there's also this problem that the French want to take over Brittany, but they also are like, well, we're not going to approve your husband unless, like, we like him, which is just this whole other thing. It's very complex. The politics are very complex, and I think that is really interesting because it's a young adult book, but it's still complex, and the politics in it are very well thought out, and there's just like a lot of really complex ideas, and I just like really enjoyed that, because books like Hunger Games prove it too. But you can create a young adult book that still deals with complex topics. I think that kids are a lot more capable of consuming media like that than people think. Like, don't get me wrong, like hyper gore or like explicit material or stuff like that, like that's not necessarily the most appropriate, and it shouldn't be like shared by adults to children. Like, I don't know if I'm explaining this correct, but I think that children are capable of understanding so much more, and if you're bringing in socio and economic issues or politics or violence in a productive way, I think that can be very helpful. So I thought that that was really interesting how complex the politics were in this book. I really enjoyed that aspect. So through all of this, through the trying to find the Duchess a husband and trying to make sure she doesn't get assassinated and making sure that they're both fulfilling their roles, Duval as the Duchess's brother and protector, Ismay as an assassin and a protector as well. Through all of this, they're working together and against everything that they believe is logical, they start to develop feelings for one another. Who would have guessed? But they just work together very well, and they just realize, okay, well, I guess, like, I actually am starting to have feelings for you. Another through line through all of this all is they are in a fake relationship because no one is going to believe that it's just a random woman or like his cousin that came with him into the city. So she passes off as his mistress. And through that, like, they're working together and they have to like pretend they're in love in front of people, and that just makes them closer too. And it's just like, yum, 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 all the tropes I love. So by the end of this book, they're already smitten, which I think is really interesting because it's like, where are we going from here with this relationship if there's 2 more books? Like, I'm intrigued. I'm excited. Because, like, literally by the end of the book, Duval is like, I would marry you right now if you would let me. Which is like, oh my god. But basically, they continue to try to protect the Duchess, but things go awry. Someone made an assassination attempt on the Duchess, but Ismay fights it off immediately. And that's when her cover is revealed and everyone knows she's an assassin, not Duval's mistress. So they're moved out of the city, somewhere else. The battles are going on. It's super scary. Through all of this, someone has accused Duval of plotting against his sister, so he has to go into hiding. So he's in the walls. He's in the palace walls and secret passageways. But somehow, he's getting poisoned. And Ismay is like, I don't know how, I don't know why, but when she kissed him, she could taste poison on him and was very scared because she's like, I'm not going to let you die. Like, I can't let you do this. I can't let you do this. But she has to leave him because her duty to protect the Duchess is more important than what her heart wants. So she follows the Duchess out and leaves him in the palace by himself, all while being afraid that he's dying of poison. And then this battle rages on. And she goes through the battle. She protects the Duchess. She does all of this kind of thing. There's casualties. And she's very upset by it all. But thus is war. This is how things have to go. After the battle is over, she walks back out onto the scene and sees all of the dead soldiers. And it's very heartbreaking. And she's looking around. And then she turns around and she sees Morton, the god of death. And he goes, my daughter. And she goes, oh my gosh, like, he means that literally. Like, my mom actually slept with death. Like, I'm the literal child of death. So, like, that was a plot twist. I was really into that. I thought that was a really cool plot twist. But he goes, my daughter, like, you don't need to use your powers just to kill. You can use it to bring mercy to people. Like, it doesn't have to be just for revenge. Like, you can use death for mercy, and you can use other things for mercy. Like, you can forgive. And she just is like, oh my gosh, I can forgive. The convent that I've been working for taught me only to be bitter and to have revenge and to kill. But I don't have to be that way. And then she realizes that, and she goes around to everyone on the battlefield, and she has a special blade that even puncturing the skin just a little bit will send their soul out of their body. So what she does is, to give them mercy, she just pierces them very slightly, and they all feel relief. She can see their spirits ascending, and she goes to the entire battlefield and does that. And then through that, she realizes, oh my gosh, I'm so much more than just a killer. I can bring mercy to people as well. I can bring life to people. And she realized, oh my gosh, I know the antidote for the poison for Duval. It's me. Which I was like, what? But she goes back to the palace and she lays on top of a very close to death Duval in the palace walls, like in these hidden passageways. And then he's like, oh, I'm fine now. What the heck happened? And she's just like, I don't know, I absorbed the poison from you and you're good now. And then they're fine. And I was just like, hey, whatever works, as long as he doesn't die. So, like, that was really interesting. I thought that was really fun. And then Duval is able to be okay enough to be like, okay, I'm going to ride out to find the Duchess. I'm also going to confront the man that I believe is responsible for the treason. I won't give every twist away because I think even if you've watched this whole video, this book is worth reading if you want a little, you know, 2012 romantic-y, nostalgic feeling book, like totally pick it up. But he confronts the person that he believes is committing treason, and then he goes out to the Duchess, and the book ends being like, okay, well, we gotta prepare for war. And it leaves it on a perfect cliffhanger, and I'm excited to continue reading, but I have put myself on a book buying ban, so I am waiting until I have more money and I have less unread books, and we'll see how it goes. So I really like this book. I think I gave it like 4.75. I couldn't rate it 5 stars. I just could not. I can't do that. But I rated it 4.75, something like that. That's why I love Storygraph. You can do decimals. Follow me on Storygraph, by the way. Moo and her books. Yay! But I love this book. I would recommend it to people who grew up in the 2010s in like elementary and early middle school. I would recommend it to people who like 2012 romantasy, who want to feel a little nostalgic, and enemies to lovers, because, oh, it was so good. Definitely hit the spot. But that is all for me. If you liked this video, make sure to like it. Comment down below the book trope or type of book that makes you feel most nostalgic. It's really books like Hunger Games for me that makes me feel very nostalgic. That's kind of the era that I grew up in. And if you like content like this, subscribe. Tell me if you like books like this, because I will definitely read more. It's really interesting. I'm not like super into romantasy, but I feel like when I do pick up romantasy books, I enjoy them. I just have to like read the plot and believe the plot is really good. So yeah, that's it for me. Without further ado, this has been Moo. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.